For over 2 decades, Wheeler Dealers has given viewers an inside look at the world of classic car restoration. The formula was deceptively simple: find a neglected car, fix it up, and sell it for a profit. Each mechanic brought their own personality to the workshop, shaped by a genuine love of the craft and a determination to make every deal count. But over time, faces changed. Some moved on while others stayed, leaving fans wondering what became of the people they followed season after season. So join us as we find out where the cast of Wheeler Dealers are today. Mike Brewer has been the face of Wheeler Dealers since the show first aired in 2003. As the frontman and dealmaker, his job was to find rough, overlooked cars and see the value hiding underneath the rust. He would track them down, negotiate the price, and set the whole restoration process in motion. Over more than 2 decades on television, he built a reputation that was consistent and instantly recognizable, because with Mike, the instinct for a deal always felt like a reflex rather than a performance. He was raised in Lambeth, South London, and cars were never just a passing interest. He got involved early and never really stopped. That hands-on background is part of why he never comes across as just another presenter. When he talks numbers or pushes a seller down on price, it feels like habit. Viewers connected with that quality immediately. Away from the cameras, Mike has kept his private life relatively grounded, raising his daughter Chloe alongside his wife Michelle while juggling demanding filming schedules and various business commitments. But success, as it turned out, came with a price that rarely showed up on screen. When things began to shift behind the scenes in 2017, a portion of the audience turned on him, and the fallout was severe. Death threats started arriving. Messages targeted his wife and daughter by name. Strangers began showing up at his home. And rather than fading over time, the abuse became a constant background noise in his life. During some of the worst stretches, Mike has openly admitted to drinking more than he should have, the pressure needing somewhere to go. Off camera, he was also running a car dealership he had scaled to over 100 members of staff, built on £40 million of borrowing, while drawing almost no salary himself. The numbers eventually made the model impossible to sustain. Mike Brewer Motors closed in November 2025, costing around 60 jobs. And even after attempting to rebuild into something leaner, he was defrauded out of over £10,000 on a single sale, one where, by his own account, he had done everything right. He's 61 now, but slowing down doesn't appear to be part of the plan. In 2024, Wheeler Dealers stretched beyond its usual format with the world tour, filming restoration projects in Mexico, Brazil, Germany, and Italy, continuing into 2025. The goal was to explore how different car cultures around the world approach the craft. Around the same period, Mike launched something more personal, Mike Brewer, Born Dealer on Quest TV. That show isn't purely about buying and selling. It dips into his day-to-day life and the work he does at One Automotive in Warwick, which remains his primary base of operations and, by most accounts, is in steady shape. He also made headlines for pulling electric vehicle stock from his dealerships amid wider market uncertainty, a decision that sparked considerable debate in the industry. Through all of it, he remains the face most closely associated with Wheeler Dealers. For a large portion of the show's audience, Ed China wasn't just the mechanic. He was the main reason they tuned in. From season 1 through season 13, he handled the heavy lifting in the workshop, taking cars apart piece by piece and walking viewers through exactly what it would cost and what it would take to put them right. Born Edward John China in London on May 9, 1971, he studied engineering at London South Bank University, which probably explains why he always seemed far more interested in understanding how things worked than in how he came across on camera. What made him genuinely stand out wasn't only technical ability. It was the way he communicated. He could take something that sounded impossibly complicated, gearboxes, fabrication, electrical faults, and break it down so clearly that it never felt intimidating. That steady, no-nonsense approach became one of the defining qualities of the early show. Outside of television, Ed leaned into his more eccentric side. He built record-breaking machines, including a motorized sofa that reached 92 miles per hour, a high-speed shopping trolley, and a motorized bed. These weren't cheap publicity stunts. They reflected a genuine love of engineering pursued simply for the satisfaction of curiosity. In March 2017, he posted a video on YouTube explaining why he was stepping away from Wheeler Dealers. The reason wasn't personal conflict. It came down to creative direction. The network wanted workshop segments trimmed down and repairs simplified in order to keep the pace tighter. Ed felt that approach stripped away the educational value of the program, the very element he cared about most. He and Mike Brewer parted professionally and without public hostility, though the two have not kept in contact since. After leaving, Ed didn't disappear. If anything, he became more hands-on. In 2018, he began uploading content to YouTube under the Ed China's Garage Revival channel, long repairs, careful explanations, with no one telling him to speed things up. The audience grew steadily, eventually passing the 1 million subscriber mark. In 2021, he launched Workshop Diaries, which gave him even greater freedom to follow the process wherever it led, regardless of runtime. By early 2025, he had set himself a new challenge, tracking down what he described as the cheapest Ferrari in Europe, a 308 GT4, and rebuilding it properly, without cutting corners. It was exactly the kind of slow-burn project that would never have survived a traditional network schedule. Toward the end of that same year, he joined the Drive Tribe collective on Scribehound, working alongside familiar motoring figures including Richard Hammond and Vicky Butler-Henderson. When the platform launched in January 2026, the pitch was straightforward: longer conversations, fewer filters, and more depth. Off-camera, Ed keeps things quiet. He's married to Imogen China and rarely brings his private life into his content. In many ways, moving away from traditional television appears to have suited him well. No time pressure, no format constraints, just engineering done on his own terms. Ant Anstead didn't arrive at Wheeler Dealers through the usual television route. Before cars became his full-time focus, he was a serving police officer. Born Anthony Richard Anstead in Plymouth in 1979, he joined Hertfordshire Constabulary in 1999, working as a police constable and eventually serving on the tactical firearms team, where he received 2 bravery commendations. On top of that, he spent more than 15 years playing semi-professional football, accumulating over 700 appearances at Ryman League level, a fact that surprised many viewers who only knew him from the workshop. Cars, though, were always pulling at him. By 2005, he left policing behind and committed fully to restoring and building vehicles. His early television work came in the UK, first with For the Love of Cars alongside Philip Glenister, then with Building Cars Live alongside James May. In 2017, he stepped into a far bigger spotlight, signing on to replace Ed China on Wheeler Dealers. The role required relocating to the United States, where he worked on the show from season 14 through season 16. When production later shifted back to the UK in 2021, Ant chose to remain in California, primarily due to family commitments and shared custody of his youngest son. Things didn't move in a straight line after Wheeler Dealers. In 2021, he partnered with Formula One champion Jenson Button to revive the Radford name under Radford Motors, a historic British coach builder reimagined as a modern performance car company. For a time, the project looked genuinely promising. Then the legal and financial troubles arrived. By late 2024, the company had filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, and by the following May had transitioned to Chapter 7 as recovery became increasingly unlikely. Even with that turbulence in the background, Ant kept working. In 2024, he began filming Ant Anstead, Born Mechanic for Quest, a stripped-back show built around a workshop, a selection of classic cars, and the process of bringing them back to life before selling them on. A portion of the proceeds goes toward renovating a 500-year-old farmhouse for his parents, which gives the series a quietly personal dimension. The audience responded well, and by early 2026, an additional 18 episodes had been confirmed. His personal life has frequently attracted as much attention as his career. He was married to Louise Herbert for over a decade, and they share 2 children, Amelie and Archie. In 2018, he married television personality Christina Hawk, and the following year they welcomed a son, Hudson, before separating in 2021. Since then, he has become engaged to actress Renee Zellweger, whom he met on the set of Celebrity IOU Joyride. These days, he divides his time between Southern California and the UK, remaining closely involved in Hudson's life while continuing to develop new projects on both sides of the Atlantic. Mark Priestley came to Wheeler Dealers with a background that set him apart from anyone who had preceded him in the workshop. Born in Wales in 1976, he spent a decade at McLaren racing in Formula One, beginning in 2000. During that time, he worked on cars driven by some of the sport's greatest names: Mika Hakkinen, Kimi Räikkönen, Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, and Lewis Hamilton, and played a direct role in developing pit stop techniques fast enough to come in under 2.5 seconds. His nickname, Elvis, came from a team prank involving blue hair dye that left him bearing an unfortunate resemblance to the King in certain photographs. The name stuck. Priestley left McLaren in 2009, having decided he wanted new challenges beyond the compressed, high-stakes world of Formula One. He moved into broadcasting, co-hosting the F1 Report on Sky Sports and working as a technical analyst for ITV4's Formula E coverage. In 2017, he published his first book, The Mechanic: The Secret World of the F1 Pittsburgh Lane, drawing on stories accumulated across a decade inside one of the sport's most successful teams. He joined Wheeler Dealers in 2021 as lead mechanic and co-presenter alongside Mike Brewer, stepping in after Ant Ansted's departure and bringing with him a precision-focused perspective that proved a strong fit for the format. As of 2026, he remains a central cast member, including on the Wheeler Dealers World Tour. Beyond television, Priestley has built a parallel career as a motivational speaker and consultant, delivering keynote talks at corporate events worldwide on the subjects of elite performance, leadership, and team culture, drawing directly from his Formula One experience. In October 2025, he published his second book, Pittsburgh Lane Lessons: What F1 Can Teach You About Life and Work, and hosts the podcast Pittsburgh Lane Life Lessons. He is based in the UK and, by all appearances, shows no signs of stepping back from any of it.